Hey guys, it's January. Now, traditionally, that's not a really great time for the movies. In fact, the movies kind of start to pick up a little bit in February, not by much. We usually get something in February and March to look forward to. Right now, you're kind of swimming in a lot of Oscar contenders, which isn't always the most fun thing to go run to the movie theaters and see. Of course, unless that's La La Land, then you should definitely go see that movie, and don't hesitate, just go see that movie. But anyway, since February is kind of the kickoff of, kind of the good movie season, I thought I'd take a look at an upcoming movie coming and then maybe see what its previous prequel, I guess, how that actually holds up leading into that sequel. So today I thought I'd cover one coming up on February 10th that not a lot of people have been talking about, but I think might warrant your attention, and that's John Wick 2. Now, the first John Wick film I originally saw a few years ago. It came out in 2014. It's directed by, actually, the stunt double of Keanu Reeves in the Matrix movies. So it looks like, when you see the original John Wick film, that a stunt guy did make that movie. It just screams a stuntman's type of movie. If there's one great thing about that John Wick movie, the original one, it's the action scenes. They're slick as could be. Some of the gunfights in that movie are just perfectly orchestrated from start to finish. It's really something to watch. You almost don't expect it. It almost feels like you're watching one of those one-shot scenes where it just continually will follow a guy, through a room. It almost looks like that. It isn't quite a one-shot, but it just looks that clean cut on the surface. Of course, this is an action movie, and when you're dealing with an action movie, you typically run into some issues on plot, and this one's no different. Ultimately, on its surface, it's a revenge tale. Keanu Reeves plays a hitman who's recently been retired. Some guys mess with him after his wife dies and kills his dog and steals his car, and now you've got a revenge plot going on there. So on its surface, that's all it really is. But by calling it just a mindless action film, you're kind of not giving it enough credit. Because one of the positives out of this movie, I think, is it's the world building. You do have a hotel that John Wick eventually ends up at, and this is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, which is kind of like a hotel for hitmen. Which, again, might sound comical on the front, but really, you got to kind of stick with it a little bit. Now, this hotel has its own set of rules. And each one of the people in that hotel has to abide by those rules, or they suffer the consequences. Now, some of the interactions within that hotel are really kind of interesting and clever, and you start to meet different type of hitmen along the way, who are all kind of their unique individual characters, including Willem Dafoe. Again, another guy you can just put in any movie, and it's pretty awesome to have him there. So I like the world building there and wish it spent more time on that. But with the lack of character development and just kind of the pacing of a classic revenge tale, getting to start from finish is really its only purpose. So it's unfortunate, because that is one of my favorite things about the movie, next to those action scenes. One of the things I forgot about this movie after seeing it the second time is the dialogue. It's an action film, so dialogue's a little rough. And on top of it, it's a Keanu Reeves action film, so any kind of emotions or anything that you plan on getting out of Keanu Reeves as you're going through the film just really is lacking. So again, if you're expecting that in an action film, this is not the one that you want to go to. Just go into it knowing that you're going to watch a sleek-looking action film from start to finish that really does have a cool world that I hope they build into on John Wick 2. Now, if there's one fear that I have going into John Wick 2, especially when looking at some of these early trailers, is my fear is that it might fall into a classic trap that so many action films fall into. Case in point, Fast and the Furious. Fast and the Furious was a certain type of action film when it first started, but they've continually and gradually ramped it up to unbelievable heights. Now, John Wick 1 is unbelievable, but it's not so fantastically unbelievable. It's just believable enough to leave it grounded, and it feels a little bit more raw and energetic. Now, I'm afraid that with a little bit of extra cash in their pocket, they might see the incentive to ramp this up and start making a little bit more fantastical and over the top to unnecessary levels. To me, that always takes me out of a movie. It's not fun anymore when it starts to get to, all right, are we really doing this right now? I don't want that in this movie. I really hope that they just spend time kind of building that world a little bit, the inner workings of the Hitman group. That would be really fun to me, and something that would be just a little different than what your traditional action film looks like today. So, again, that's something to look forward here coming up on February 10th. So if you haven't seen John Wick 1, I recommend it. It's a fun enough movie. If you're not somebody that traditionally likes action films, it's not going to do it for you. It is plenty violent, and I mean, it's an action movie, so you know what you're getting into. But I'm really hoping John Wick 2 continues that trend that the first movie put out, and hopefully it's something we can all look forward to. So until then, you guys take care. Bye.